Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going.
You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Folks,
absolutely
folks,
agreed
do you have any idea what this clown's doing?
They call it
Mr.
Do you have any idea?
socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well,
President.
I tell you what, because he in fact already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two.
Yeah.
Number
better
three.
health care at a much lower price because
and by the way,
Obamacare
he doesn't
is
know
no
how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a plan.
fixed it to an extent.
He has never done a
as
single
you might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen, you realize if you're both speaking at the same time,
and it's too expensive.
let the president's go ahead.
Mandate. We guarantee pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual mandate. Listen, this is the way it is, and that destroyed. That they shouldn't even call it Obamacare.
Mr. President,
You're talking about 2 million people.
You're not
Mr. President, as the moderator, we are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
By the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch.
You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting health care.
What about
all of the
pre-existing
things that
conditions?
we've done,
He has not cut
insulin.
health
I give
care.
you an example. We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because
When in
they
fact-
pay just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No,
Let me
but
ask
this
you
is
about,
big. This
you'll be
is
happy,
big stuff.
sir.
You're not
Mr.
gonna be able to
President, as
shut
the
him up.
moderator.
I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water.
All right, let's
you
talk.
want to know the truth. So cheap.
We got a lot to unpack here, gentlemen. We got a lot of time. So the last 4 years you have promised, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan to replace
Probably blame
Obamacare.
him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people.
On health care, and then we'll come back to Roe v. Wade.
All right.
So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. That excuse me, I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of
Obamacare.
That is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst part of Obamacare.
Sir,
Chris,
you're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part of
me.
Obama.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe.
The
individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare. I got rid of it.
I'd like
and
you
we
to,
will protect
Mr.
people
President,
with
on the
pre-existing.
moderator.
Chris, we want to get rid of it.
I understand it, sir, but I have to give you roughly equal time.
Good.
Please let the Vice President talk.
Good.
He has no plan for health care. Of
course we do.
Sends
Please.
hurricanes deal with. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that.
Please.
He did say
You made it up.
and here's the deal.
You make up a
we,
lot.
Please.
we are going to be in a position where we can create hard jobs by making sure the environment is
All right,
clean.
gentlemen,
Wait a minute, Chris. So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirty there. Russia does. India does. They all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion.
That is
not
not
20
my
billion.
plan.
That's
The Green
well,
New
you want to
Deal
rebuild every
is not
building.
my plan.
I want to
All
rebuild
right.
every.
If he knew anything about, if he knew
Gentlemen,
anything
He made a
about,
statement
Gentlemen,
about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
That is
What
not
he
true.
did
Sir,
is he
you're done in
said
this segment.
he called
Mr.
the
Vice-
military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
and he
did
said
not
it on
say
tape.
that.
He said
Mr.
stupid
Please,
bastards. He
not
said
sir,
it.
stop.
I would never
I
say
would
that
play
to
it.
the
Stop.
military.
Play it.
I have incredibly good judgment. One, I married Jill. And two, I appointed Johnson to the academy. I just want you to know that. Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
Go ahead. Mr.
You're on
Vice
tape.
President answered his final question.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all his rantings.
I'm having a little trouble myself, but and about the economy and about
the
this
economy.
question of what it's going to cost.
The economy.
I mean, the Green New Deal and the idea of what your environmental
Green New
changes
Deal,
will do.
The Green New Deal will pay for itself as we move forward.
That's
the Green
well,
New
you want to
Deal
rebuild every
is not
building.
my plan.
I want to rebuild.
He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right,
He's
I have one final question for you,
Sure.
Mr. Vice President. If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead, ending the filibuster, or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there, you call this a distraction by the president, but in fact it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress, packing the court.
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question
you want to put a
is
lot of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
Right, gentlemen, I think
this
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
We have,
I'm not going to give a list.
we have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
They sure
47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
All right. The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject, so let's try to be serious about it. Question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
1,000 people today are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. Violence is never appropriate.
All right.
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of a town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place,
that
and you
is
say
not
peaceful protest?
President Trump,
No, it's
I'm not
not,
asking-
but you say it is.
President
did not
Trump,
say
I'd like to continue with the
Yes,
issue
go
of
ahead,
race. I
please.
promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane.
Sensitivity
and you know it,
training.
and so does
What
everybody
is
else.
radical,
and he would know.
What is
Oh, it
radical
was totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training, sir?
Teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place, and they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm
No
not going to
one's
allow
doing
that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's doing that. He's the racist.
You just don't know.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about
You
this
don't
than he
know.
does.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity.
Bernie
Now,
Sanders is far
did-
left on the manifesto,
when
we
you-
call it.
when
And that gives
manifest-
you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
Are you
I'm
saying
not
you
going to
didn't
listen
agree?
to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm
Not by
here
much.
standing facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have left
Well,
2 days
I tell
early.
you,
You would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to
on
do
Super
is hurt.
Tuesday. You got
Look,
very lucky.
here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well.
With what?
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree.
want to
Hey,
make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
First in your class, not first in your class.
God, I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be surprised.
You pick
You'd be surprised. Go
the
ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy,
Go,
the wrong
go,
night
Joe,
at the
go.
wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders to the
The
manifesto.
whole idea.
Let
Now you're
him.
disavowing it.
There
Go ahead.
is no manifesto. And
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen, let me move on to Vice President Biden. You have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I'd know what the plan is. By Easter, this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact?
Well, he wants to shut down this country. And I want to keep it open. One of the reasons they shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on November 3rd.
I want to move on to another
because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political
on to
thing.
another
I've
subject.
got to respond.
But those states are not doing well that are shut down
Which is
right
gotta
now.
respond to that.
Once they
President
shut
Trump,
down the
you
whole
have
country.
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks, questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are
of
okay.
of
You have to
masks.
understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say this.
Vice President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, a lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
So-
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years, you've done nothing.
Let's add, well, he's just shush for a minute.
Tell it to Nancy Pelosi and Schumer,
by the way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have a plan. We provided money. The Congress.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives.
Well, look
serious.
at
I wanna
Dr.
ask you-
Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the
He did
opposite.
not
I
say
want to
the
ask you, we
opposite.
got a
said
little
very
bit more than a
strongly,
minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks are good. I'm
wanna
okay
ask-
with masks.
I
I'm
want to
not
ask you
fighting
both
masks.
about one last subject. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
Because nobody will show up.
people with masks.
Well, it's true. Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why you holding the big rallies? Why you not? You go first, sir.
And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
By the way, did you see
sir.
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask.
40,000
All right.
people
You want
attended
to
these rallies.
just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled.
Could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen,
Joe.
can we move on
Nobody
to the
cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the economy?
Yes.
Why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong? President Trump, in this segment, you go first. 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal
Fact is that
nominee.
everything he's saying so far is simply a lie.
Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
My economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two,
Respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
By the way, I'm going to eliminate 91 companies, in the Fortune 500, who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it before when you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was
That's right.
your tax proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
Yeah, you got it done.
Our economy boomed like it's never boomed
The economy
before.
is
Mr.
busted.
President,
Let me finish.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for the American people.
But let me.
Excuse me.
But in
We had the slowest
Obama's, you talk about the
recovery
economy booming.
Since economic recovery since 1929, it was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot.
Look,
Mr.
we
Vice
inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't
he
booming.
Blew it. He blew it.
It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery
Well, sir, is it
since
fair to, wait,
1929.
is it fair to say he blew it when, in
When
fact,
COVID came in.
when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take. No, you're on number 2.
No.
Chris. They said it would
This
take
guy
a
is
miracle to bring back manufacturing.
I'm the guy that
He
brought
totally
back
gave
the
up on
automobile
manufacturing.
industry.
All right, let him.
We brought back, I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies came in from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having
And they
Mr.
didn't
Vice-
come
wait,
in
wait,
with you.
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch, down
All right, gentlemen,
18%. China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Simply
while we're
not
at it,
true.
why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
That's
What
not
did he
true.
do to deserve it?
That
What
is
did he do with Burisma
none
to
of that-
deserve
Wait,
$183,000?
None
You've
of
asked
that
your
is
question,
true.
let him answer.
None of that is true. It's
Oh, really? He didn't
totally,
get
But no,
$3.5
hey,
million?
Mr. President,
It's
Mr.
totally-
President, please.
totally
ask a question.
discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he didn't get
No, no.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President,
It is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh.
President,
But, Mr.
it's an open discussion, please.
Now,
It's a fact.
Well,
It
you
is
have
not a
raised an
fact.
issue. Let the
It's been
Vice
totally
President answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report.
$183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr.
Look,
President,
no
my
job?
son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he
and
did.
Mr.
the only
President,
guy that
let
did
him
some-
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited.
who?
And
The media?
By everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it
World
because they're
Bank,
embarrassed.
by everyone has discredited. Matter
Dude,
of fact,
Mr.
even the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
So let me
under
ask you
oath,
this,
Henry,
Joe.
under
No,
oath.
go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to
Even
you.
the people under.
He got $3.5 million from
testified-
Moscow.
He testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
With you,
Go
they
ahead.
said-
You get
here's the
the, wait a
deal.
minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this
Hey,
this
let me just
person.
say, Joe,
No. I'm Mr. President. I'm
$3.5
Mr.
million,
President.
Joe.
That is simply
Why did
not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million
It
from
did-
Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. I mean, his family we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already
family,
No, let him go.
my family
already
lost
wrote-
a fortune by
Go ahead.
coming down
Go
and helping
ahead.
us with
Go ahead,
government.
sir.
And that's such a
they're right
That's
here.
it, Mr.
That's
President.
such a
Every
great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune
about
by
President.
my
coming and
family or
helping
his
us
family.
with
It's
government.
about your family. Talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about.
you
here.
should
All right,
Not
that's the end of the segment. We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice
it's a very-
President,
but Chris,
no,
can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No,
He stood
good
up.
No,
he stood up,
the answer to
and
the
he
question is
threatened
no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion
Sir,
if you don't
that
get rid of
is
the trust.
You know what? You're
absolutely not
stop.
You're on
true.
tape doing it.
You're going to
Not
have
tape.
True.
Gentlemen,
Is-
I hate to raise
Chris,
my voice,
he's
but
on
it seems
tape.
to be, why should I be different than the two of you? I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Here's
Well,
the deal.
frankly, you've been doing more interrupting
Well, that's
than
all
he
right,
has.
but he does plenty.
Well, less than, sir, less
there's
than.
plenty.
No,
Here's the
less than
deal.
you have. Let's please continue on.
Take a look at Carolyn
No, I-
Maloney's
I
race.
asked
and
you, you had an opportunity
Look
to
at
respond.
Carolyn Maloney.
Go ahead.
They have no idea what
Vice
happened.
President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal. He's just afraid of counting the votes because he
You're
knows
wrong.
the outcome.
You're wrong.
No, I want to continue with you on
I
this,
love
Vice
counting the
President
votes.
Biden.
Chris, he's so wrong when he makes
in
a
fact,
statement
no,
like that.
excuse me, I'm
Look.
asking you about the fact that millions of people
You go
have
and
received-
vote. You go and
No,
vote
but
like
what I'm
they
saying is that what are
like
you
they
gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people-
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending it back, and you're sending.
No
This is
evidence
not
of
going to
that.
end well.
There is
Okay.
no
This
evidence
is
of that.
not going
Vice
to
President
end well.
Biden.
5 states
In fact,
have had
go ahead,
mail-in
sir.
ballots for the last dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you. That is totally legitimate.
All right.
Excuse me,
No,
Chris,
no, no.
when you
I
have
a final-
80 million ballots
Gentlemen, I have a final
sent in
question.
and swamping
All
money
right.
that's been
So now,
fraud,
Mail service
final-
delivers
wait a minute, gentlemen, in the
185
final
million
question
pieces of
is,
mail a day.
in
million
8
ballots.
states, we can keep talking. Gentlemen, you say that's the end of it? This is the
I
end of
wanna
this
see an
debate?
honest ballot count.
We're
And I
going to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued
You
as
have
in more
treated the
debates as we go
African-American
on. President
population
Trump,
community. You have
Vice
treated
President
the black
Biden, it's been an
community
interesting
about
hour and
as
a half.
bad
I
as
wanna thank
anybody
you
in this
both.
country. You did the 19, and that's why if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time.
What a wonderful world.